Hi, my name is Thalia MK and I am at Law 2.0 Conference, Dubai, Winter 2022. And I have with me Virginia, please let me know if I'm pronouncing it right, Virginie Tassin Campanella. And she is a founder and director of VTA Tassin, and she is also awarded for outstanding leadership. First of all, congratulations. I was just telling her that what are you doing in laws? And she had a really amazing answer that we need good and nice people in law as well. Thank you so much for being here with us. Tell us about you and your brand.
Thank you very much. So I'm a lawyer, a nice lawyer. I'm the founder of a public international law firm. So it's a law firm working mainly on international law issues that are raised by sea activities or ocean activities, or the use or access of marine resources. So it could be mineral resources or biological resources. And the firm is actually working with a very broad range of actors, from states to international or regional organizations, private sector, NGO, foundations, and even investors for blue economy and blue finance. And the topics addressed are, I have to say, fascinating. I'm always really pleased with all the questions and the projects we have actually at the law firm. So we're working, for example, on deep sea mining, biodiversity use. So, for example, how you use genetic resources for cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, cooperation issues for fisheries, conservation, marine protected areas, Earth observation from satellites, ocean data that are collected, from vessels or devices to map the seabed or model actually the environmental health of the ocean. So it's very diverse.
I am not only amazed, I'm impressed by you seriously that working on such important topics, working on sensitive topics is something worthwhile when you're living, doing something which is amazingly important and sensitive. How do you deal? Everybody cannot be on the same page where whatever your verdict is, whatever your decision is, not everybody will be at the same page of what you are offering. How do you deal with that kind of, I won't say the word backlash, but how would you deal with the people who are not at the same side and would want you to go ahead with it?
What do you mean exactly?
In a sense, when we are dealing with, for an example, environment we're talking about. If somebody talks about environment, everybody had their own perspective. You are giving a verdict or you're working towards something to make something better, but there are also people who are not up for it, they're against it. How you deal with those people? How do you go ahead, keep your calm, and go ahead with that thing?
Well, the good thing of being a lawyer is that everything we do is based on law. So we are neutral in the way that we interpret and give advice to implement law. So I think the first thing that I will say that it's basically, for me, it's all about knowledge and understanding. And there's many actors that are, doing actions or deploying projects without the full knowledge of what they should do and how they should do it and how they could actually strengthen their positioning by knowledge. And what is missing, I will say, in the legal community at the moment, and especially for international law, is actually especially for business, I will say, private sector, to understand that this knowledge of law, international law, so the big box you have, on the top of all the different domestic laws, is a business advantage. The more you understand it, the more you can develop in a better way your business, and the way you can be ahead of the market. You can develop innovative, products and services. So it's really about knowledge. It's not about judging, Exactly. And I think especially in my field, public international law, so it's a niche area, and the ocean is even another niche area. It's a field that has been very much valued for dispute settlements. So the legal practice, lawyers basically in law firms, practicing these fields are usually dedicated to dispute settlements. So they are litigators and advocates. I have a problem with this, is that international law at the beginning was created to promote peace. And so it's very important to have litigators and people able to represent, lawyers able to represent those that are in troubles, to represent all the different interests. But international law should be also dedicated to promoting peace, and so advisory services before disputes are extremely important. And at the moment, they're not at all valued in public international law. So, for example, all big classification companies saying you're the top 500 lawyer, it doesn't exist for public international law because public international law is under the section of dispute settlements. So I think there's still a lot to do, in terms of legal practice and innovation, and I'm very happy to receive this prize today. Thank you.
I'm not going to take it too long, but what was the reason that you decided to go in this field, in this path, that convinced you that you want to make a change, you want to bring the peace, you need to work on it? What was that inspiration that brought you here with the amazing, outstanding leadership award?
It's a long journey. Well, I was. I have to tell the story. So, I did a master in international economic law. So it's a field of law that is specialized in commerce, investments, and I took actually a subject which was law of the sea. I loved it so much. And then I went actually working abroad. So I did my master in France. I went working in Vietnam, and then in Australia, and actually realized that this work was more related to international trade and international investments. And I realized that I was actually getting bored. Intellectually it was very interesting, but personally I couldn't feel a connection, to this field.
It's more books and studying, not something practical.
Yes, and I need to find like a personal drive in everything that I do. And I think it really depends on people, And so I had the idea of, wow, the law of the sea topic that I took at university, I loved it so much. I'm sure there's something you can do with it. But it's very difficult to enter this field because you don't have much jobs. You can work for governments or you can become an academic. And the legal practice was not developed at that time. So in order to enter at least this small world, I had the idea to do a PhD. So I did a PhD in law of the sea in between Australia and France. And then I had the amazing chance to work at the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea. So it's an international court in Hamburg. And I stayed there 2 years, working with judges and, on fascinating cases. And I actually realized that exactly what I said, everything is about dispute settlements. And I was thinking about the ocean as an ecosystem, but an ecosystem of actors. So not only states, but also all the actors that are actually operating in these specific environments. And so these actors, and mainly private actors, you have no one inside of the companies able to give them advice on the law of the sea and connected issues, because international law has always been out of reach for the legal practice. So I had the idea of creating this law firm based on this, be able to provide services to an ecosystem of actors that were actually left without legal advice.
Amazing work, for sure. Tell us that, what do you see in the future, the change you're going to make that is like the first pointer at your agenda?
It's a very tough question. I don't know if I'm going to make myself a change or if the law firm is going to make a change. I hope it's going to be like a small stone to many other changes. For me, the main change will be actually to assist actors to better implement law. And the main issue that I see is that actors are left without knowledge or understanding of how law and policies are working. So they try to implement it the best they can, but they usually don't have enough knowledge and critical thinking towards how to really improve it, the way they implement it and how they can, take in consideration certain aspects and other aspects. And they can't even navigate, within all the policies. Most of actors don't even know the difference between law and policy. So, and the issue with policies is that it's mainly developed by people that are not necessarily lawyers. So there's something missing. And being close to someone able to give advice on how to better implement law and implement policies gives you a business advice. So I'm really hoping that a lot of actors will be able to understand this, and it will generally improve the implementation of international law.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope the Conference Law 2.0 was a better place to learn from different people, different networking. And I am so honored to be sitting next to you. And I hope in future the changes you want to make, you make those changes. If anybody wants to contact her, please contact her, collaborate with her. Her email address is pshenoy@unicore.com. And thank you. Oh, it's not this. I'm so sorry. Which one is it?
It's Virginie.Tassin at VTA-Tassin.com. But the
Thank you so
website
much.
is fine.
The website is also fine. And as she said, disputes need to be resolved, peace need to be made. Peace is, I think, so one of the key to, if you want to live in this world, peace and proper channels are the way. So just make those strong and let's have a peaceful, good life and be human. And that's Talia MK signing off. Thank you.